hello from Create and Fly. It's good to see you again. So this channel is now progressing into forthcoming releases and what's currently out there right now to go and buy. As soon as manufacturers announce 1 to 400, 1 to 200 or 1 to 500, I'll be putting them straight on here. It could be daily, it could be weekly, it all depends on when they announce those. But this will be the place to come to find out what is coming out. Ignore the Hot Wheels behind me, I do collect those as well, and it's something that I'm very passionate about, but model aircraft is the big one for me. Always have done, always will do, and this channel will be dedicated just to that. Also, we'll be talking about forthcoming shows and events that may be happening around the world, as well as also towards the end of the video I shall discuss what I have currently purchased or waiting to receive, or something that I've got my eye on. Yeah, so let's get straight to it. So straight in with these releases. This is JC Wings 1 to 400 scale, announced, marked as August 2026 release, but obviously, as we know, JC Wings don't generally release models the month after they're announced, so who knows when these are coming. But regardless of that, we have the EasyJet Airbus A319, and that is with the Amsterdam titles, registration GEZDN. Next to that, La Campagne, I hope I've said that right, and that's the Airbus A321neo, the plane to be titles, and registration FHBUZ. Next to that, we have the beautiful Airbus Industries livery Beluga number 3. That is an interactive series, and that has the reg FGSTC. Next to that, Korean Air Cargo, and that is a MD-11F. Again, another fantastic release. And the registration HL7375. A flaps down and normal version of the Cathay Pacific One World Boeing 777-300ER, registration BKQL. Next to that, we have a flaps down and normal version of the Malaysia Airways Airbus A350-900 XWB, registration 9MAG. AIRLINER Argentinas Airbus A330-200, and that is the Argentina national football team titles, registration LVKAN. Next we have the GBA Greater Bay Airlines Boeing 737-800, registration BKJC. And then a beautiful release in the Boeing house livery, and that's the Boeing 747-100, with the the 747 Super Airbus titles polished, and that's registration JA8114. A future release is Alaska Airlines Horizon Air Embraer ERJ175LR, registration N659QX. Another fantastic release is Air Spray, Canadian registered CFJLO, and that's a Lockheed Electra. That's really nice to see. And then we have a Saudi flaps down a normal version of the Boeing 777-300ER with 80 years titles, registration HZAK36. Going back to Canada, we have the WestJet Boeing 737 MAX 8 in the recently painted Toronto Blue Jays livery, and that is registered CGORP. And then finally, for 1 to 400, we have a Tiger Air Taiwan Airbus A320 with the registration B5005. So on to the JC Wings 1 to 200 scale, again predicted, I don't know when we predicted these, but it marked as August 2026 releases. So starting at the top, we've got a Cathay Dragon Airbus A321, registration BHTF. Next to that, we have a Shenzhen Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 8, registered B1146. Lufthansa Airbus A340-600 in the Franhansa titles, registration DIEHQ. Flaps down our normal version of the United Airlines Boeing 767-400ER with the Denver Broncos titles, registration N76064. The gold ANA Boeing 737-700, registration JA02AN. That's got the winglets, that looks nice. And then we've got a flaps down and normal version of the Air China Boeing 747-400, registration B2447. Netherlands Coast Guard de Havilland Canada-8 Q100, registration PHCGB. That's a nice release in 1 to 200. Then we have another interactive Boeing 747, that's TNT 747-400F, and that's got the white nose, registration 00THA. We then have a Zeeman Boeing 7879 Dreamliner in support of the UN, registration D1356. Singapore Airlines Boeing 747-400 Megatop, registration 9VSPM. Then we have McDonnell Douglas in the house livery, MD11, that's polished, and that's registration N111 MD. A nice release here again. I know that ARD released a lot of these BA models, but this is British Airways One World livery, Airbus A320, with the registration GEUYS. Then we have the Tel Air Convair CV440, registration HBIMQ. That's a nice release. And then next to that, so we have an Aeroflot Antonov AN124 with blue stripes, registration CCCP. I think it's B82021. And then finally we have the Swiss Airbus A350-900 XWB, registration HBIFB. And if we pop to the Waffle Collectibles website, this is always a good place to look for aircraft that have landed in from China, ready for distribution and for sale. So we can see that 1-400s have come in for NG. Got some nice Air India 787-9s in there. Air Canada A321. What else we got? Delta Airlines A350-900s landed now. The Lufthansa 747-8s in the new livery. Well, not the new livery, the new celebration livery. And then also a United Airlines 7673. A couple of nice Air France A318s, always nice to see. Some Gulf Air A321s, Cathay A321s, as well as a couple more blanks in there as well. We've got a couple of A321-200s. Always useful for custom collectors. And then if we go down to 1 to 200 scale, these have now come in. So we've got the Southwest 737-700 and the Ryanair 737-800s, one without the winglets, and that's the original previous livery that they had on the Ryanair 737-8s, and also the latest version EIDYL, which has got the split scimitar winglets. Beautiful model, which I'll talk about again shortly. Also American Transairs in there, another Southwest 737-800, as well as Air Mexico 737-800s as well. So just a quick look at the forthcoming events and shows. Obviously a couple of weeks ago there was the Airliners International, the Delta Flight Museum, and also in America we had the Aviation Expo 2026 in Seattle. A couple of weeks ago as well, I was at the Manchester Aviation Fair, under the wings of Concorde. Fantastic location. I was there with a table with my good friend Wings 400. But moving forward, we have September the 5th, Maastricht, September the 12th, Newark Airlines Show, and September the 19th, Paris Charles de Gaulle Airliner Convention. This website is by my good friend Patrick from the the Amsterdam Aviation Fair. We'll talk about that later in another video, but this website is great for keeping in touch of what is coming up. And then just moving forward a little bit further, Atlanta Airline Collectibles Show at the Delta Flight Museum on October the 3rd. Toronto gets another one on the 4th of October. Vienna, October the 10th. And it's great to see British Columbia getting one. That's the first British Columbia Aviation Expo. October 31st, Wings over Rhine. November the 14th, Frankfurt Aviation Collectibles. And 22nd of November, I'm hoping to go to this one as well. And that will be the Heathrow Aviation Fair, which is a fantastic event to go to as well. Then November, Zurich. And then, like I say, we'll talk about Amsterdam nearer the time, but that is an absolutely fantastic one that you have to go to at some point in your lifetime. I'm just signing off with a model that is coming this week, and I'm so excited for it. I was excited when NG released the 1-400 version of this Ryanair with the split scimitars. I know I keep going on about this, but I initially contacted NG at the time and said, "Oh, did you know that Ryanair are now starting to put scimitars on their 737s?" This was a couple of years ago, and then before you know it, they released it. So I kind of like to think, in my own dream world, that I kind of had something to do with that. And regardless of, anyway, it's such a fantastic release. Anyway, this is coming this week, and this is in 1-200 scale, and I'm so excited about getting this. I'm always a massive fan of NG, and this is going to be an absolute beauty. So yeah, really excited about this. Obviously, these split scimitars are a common sight now across UK and European airports, so it's just something that I had to get. I mean, it's an absolute beauty. So as soon as that comes in, I shall hopefully unpack that, and I'll get to show you that in a bit more detail than what we're seeing in these pictures here. But yeah, absolute beauty.